What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hardworking Happy Hour. I'm Sean.
And I'm Catherine, and as always, we'll be breaking down all things trades, entrepreneurship, and turning your creativity into a passion career.
Yeah, and we have a very special guest here today. We have Wood Bully, and yeah, we're very excited about it. And anybody that listened or watched last week knows that we're still in the same place we were at the last episode. We recorded these back to back.
Yes. We're in Florida.
Still at the International Builder Show in the same room, at the same table.
Yep.
We didn't come back a week later. We recorded them at the same time. We're just releasing them a week apart. So Gordon South, Wood Bully, LTD, what's going on?
Not much. I'm just here in sunny Florida.
Closer to the mic. Closer to the mic.
I'm just here.
Get like so
Florida.
close to it.
Like
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just here in Florida enjoying the sunny
Put the
weather.
mic in your mouth.
I'd have to charge more if I did.
So yeah, what's going on? You're down here from Canada.
Yep.
Where in Canada are you from?
Toronto,
Okay.
the only place in Canada that matters.
Hockey Hall of Fame's there. I was there as a young
Oh, yeah?
chap.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, it's nice because it's like minus 20 there right now in
Minus
Celsius.
20?
In Celsius.
Oh.
So what is that?
I think somebody told me last week,
It's
like
gotta be like 10
minus
degrees.
32
It's where they meet.
is where they meet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we get to minus 32, you are also at minus 32. You experience the same pain.
It's so cold.
Yeah.
It's extremely cold.
That's as cold as it gets for us. And
Minus 20 seems extreme.
it is extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds horrible. See,
Sounds
okay.
difficult.
We were just in Boston, Massachusetts 2 weeks ago, and it got me thinking, why did people say, yeah, let's stop here and set up shop? Why didn't they keep going south where it's warmer? And it's even more up in Canada. Why did people stay there and say, this is okay and I want to live in this manner?
I think it has to do with the water and transportation of goods. That's why most major cities are around major bodies of water.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You went like actually logical.
That's what I was educated towards. I don't know if that's true.
Most metropolises are near bodies of water where you can transport goods. Yes.
Yes.
That is true.
From other metropolises. From
yeah.
one metropolis to another.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter the
Yep.
the temperature.
Also food source near water is abundant.
Yeah. We're already diversifying the topics here on this podcast so much, and
Going off topic.
to just kind of introduce, to set the scene for everybody. Wood Bully is somebody I've seen online for a while. I recently just started following you on Instagram. I just thought that I was already following you, but I wasn't. I don't know. Maybe I see you posted on Facebook. I've seen it so much that I just thought that I was following you, and I wasn't until, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago. But I've been seeing your work. So
The For You wouldn't let you escape.
yeah, probably.
FYP.
Whatever you're doing is better, because I was seeing it and I wasn't following you. So
Yeah.
like, whatever you're doing, it's working really well. And we've had a small amount of conversation through Instagram and stuff like that. But I wanted to save most of the fun introduction, getting to know you, talking shop for live on the podcast. So that's what we're going to get into today. We have a very, I don't know. I mean, it appears that we have a pretty similar business model. We're seeing value in the same kind of thing. So
Yep.
it'd be interesting to unravel that a little bit more on the show.
And
Yeah.
that's what we're doing right now.
That's exactly what
We're on
we're
the
in the
show.
process of doing. If I just stopped saying that we're going to unravel it, we
Yeah.
would start unraveling it. So we should probably just get into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us a little bit about, just what your vision was, because how long have you been in business?
I've been in this business for 18 years, but Wood Bully LTD has been in business for 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
Okay.
Wow.
What? You started working when you were 15?
Yep. Building fences.
Is there do you guys go to school in Canada? Is
We
that
do. It's a summer job because of
okay.
the winter, the construction season is abundant in the summer. So even when I finished high school, I would still get laid off every winter because
It's cold.
A union gig was like winning the lottery when I was younger for some reason, just from where I came from or whatever. But I just dig ditches and used the post pounder for the first few years of my career.
Yeah. So you're pretty adept at that piece of machinery, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that made me in really good shape.
Yeah.
When I was young. Not anymore. But
yeah,
I was.
me neither. I know. I know how that goes.
So what were you doing between fence building and now outdoor living building?
So when I would get laid off in the winters, I would get jobs at temp agencies when I was younger, like when I was 17, 18. And then temp agencies, they just send you to a factory to pack up like whatever in a warehouse or something like that. It's just temp
pack
jobs.
Snow or
They're the
whatever
worst
you guys
jobs
do up there.
ever. The worst jobs ever. Yeah, we would make ice cubes to ship them down here so people could have cold drinks.
Oh, nice. We appreciate what you do for us.
They paid like $6 an hour Canadian. I think that's like $4 American.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the gist of it. So I learned a lot of what you would think were arbitrary skills, or like just from working with different types of people.
Yeah.
You also get to find out what a lifer is, like somebody who decides to work at one job for 25 years, and you just look at how sad he is, and you just have to walk out. I found the great thing about temp agencies was I would quit my job on the drop of a dime if I felt like it. I just walk out the doors, don't give any notice, didn't even call or tell anybody, just walk out the doors, embrace the sunshine and freedom.
Yeah.
And I would never look back. And then I'd call the agency and tell them I need a new placement. And they would say, well, you can't really just do that, but we'll set you up with something else. And it worked out. I did maybe 50 different jobs over the course of like 5 years in the winters. Because in Canada, what's big in the construction industry is a lot of guys collect unemployment when they're off for the winter. And it's like a gray area where they're not necessarily entitled to it because they're able-bodied and ready to work. They can go find work.
Yeah.
But most of them just say, yeah, looking for work, can't find it.
Yeah.
And then in the spring, their boss calls them and says, we're ready to start again. And that's how it was for a while. It's not really like that anymore, especially the way I run my company. We're going all the time.
Yeah.
And there's no real need to stop because it's cold, but like, who cares, right?
Yeah. And that's honestly one of the things, we used to stop for the winter. And like some winters, we don't even get snow. Like it's not that cold.
Aren't you in Maine?
No, we're in New Jersey.
Oh.
New Jersey.
I was going to say, because that's further north.
We're mainly in New Jersey, like 100%.
Exclusively.
Yeah.
Have you always been in New Jersey? Are you sure?
Mainly, yeah.
I'm thinking of someone else's Instagram now.
Maybe,
Who are you? Where am
I don't know. We trapped you here.
Okay. New Jersey gets snow, doesn't it?
No, it does. It definitely
does.
But
Not
like the
a
last
ton.
couple winters have been pretty mild. And I mean, like when we get snow, it's like, I don't know, we might get 6, like 10, like 14 inches is like a huge snowstorm. And, it's not that cold compared to Canada, where I see people shoveling off the deck and all that kind of stuff and working straight through the winter. So like, once I became like more a part of like the Instagram community and there's so many deck builders and outdoor living people that are in Canada, and I'm like, yeah, it's like really cold here in New Jersey, but like I'm seeing all these people in Canada or people in Minnesota where it's like they have 100 inches of snow a year, and I'm sitting there at home like, oh, it's too cold. So that was one of the things that was like, all right, if they can work through the winter, we can find a way to work through the winter.
Exactly.
I still hate it. I hate it.
I look at framers they like house framers, carpenters have always worked all year.
Yeah.
And we're, as a deck builder, everyone's like, oh, we have to go inside. I'm like, they're still doing it.
Yeah.
So put some of those hot hand things in your gloves and shut up.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. You complain for 1 second, I will.
Yeah.
hurt
We get
you.
the heat gun. We leave a heat gun out. If you can't feel your hands, hit the heat gun for 5 minutes and get back to work.
Yeah. Love
What's wrong with
that.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Love it.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Get stuff done.
Yeah.
And everyone's happy.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like they're miserable, but it's nice in the summertime, and that's what we're gonna focus on is when it's nice.
Yeah. So what does your crew look like?
My current crew going into this year, we have 3 people. I got my main guy, Chuck. He's my lead carpenter. He's a very creative guy, so I like having him around. But he was a roofer who went to school for carpentry, and then I basically hired him after his placement was finished from the school carpentry college that he went to, and he could do everything I can do in terms of like finish work.
Yeah.
And I just taught him the basics of how I do things, and now I don't have to worry about him. I can leave and he just makes sure the job is done right. And then I have a new guy actually who reached out on TikTok for a job. He was willing to work for free for the first year, but I'm paying him.
For a year?
What?
Yeah, just to learn from what he says is the master. But
Ooh.
I don't know. But yeah, I am paying him. He is an employee. And then I have some subs. I have a stone guy that I use, and he has his own crew, and plumbers, electricians, that kind of stuff. We sub out.
When you say stone guy, are you talking vertical stone veneer? Are you talking pavers?
I do the pavers. We do the pavers because
Okay.
I've done landscaping,
Yeah.
project management, and stuff like that when I was in another company. When I was an employee, someone
Yeah.
else, I handled all that stuff. So, but when it comes to like wet lays that are going to withstand -30,
Yeah.
that's where I call him in
Yep.
because he knows that sand to mix to Portland
Yeah.
combo that works perfectly, looks the same color as the Indian flagstone, and doesn't pop when it goes to -30. And
Yeah.
so I call him in for that crazy stuff, or chipping thin stone faces and stuff, like in the rock face on it.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff I don't know how to do with stones, but I know how to grade, I know how to excavate, I know how to lay a stone on the floor. That's
Yeah.
for
It's,
sure.
yeah. Pretty
Yeah.
pretty straightforward. It's like
With HPB, it's like set 2 poles, drag a piece of stick, and
yep.
like glass.
HPB, high performance base. We don't call it that in America. We just call it like, I guess that's open graded.
We call it
base.
high performance bedding.
Oh, bedding, not base. Bedding. Okay. That's like a 1/4 inch clean stone.
That's right.
That's what we call
Right,
it. Okay.
Yeah, it's like kitty litter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that right off the bat that is very interesting to me is how long did you work for this other company, learning your skill set?
Well, when I was 15, I got a job with my uncle who worked for a fence building company that did primarily chain link fences. So my job
Yeah.
was pounding posts and digging holes. And then he started to take on wood jobs because I had the interest. Because I don't know why. I thought that for me, carpentry was like being a doctor.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I just was like, I just want to do real construction, not the fake construction. And
Yeah.
so he started selling wood fences, and I started being pretty good at them and proficient at that. And then he started selling decks, and I had no idea what I was doing in that regard because I had zero training in structure or any engineering. I didn't understand anything. So it took me a while to read all the books and go through that. And then I started teaching the owner of the company and my uncle and all the other carpenters at work how to actually frame a deck correctly and
Yeah.
what was going on there. And then he started selling more of those, but I only worked with him till I was about 20. And then I decided to get into real construction again. And I had a small commercial flooring business where I basically got a lot of subcontracts, changing carpet tiles in office buildings at night.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be lucrative, and I thought doing commercial construction was real construction, but it was nonsense. Ruined my knees, my ears, everything. But went from that, realized that the subcontracting commercial business isn't set up for the success of one individual. It's actually set up to dry you out, kill
Yeah.
you, and destroy your company overnight, so they don't have to pay you, right? And so it's one of those things you really have to always fight for, and you'll never have what you think you deserve. So I closed that company and went and became a foreman building decks again, and in this company they were a landscape design and build company.
Where are we at timeline here? How old are you at this point
At this point,
that you start working for this? You were 20 when you left your uncle's company. How long did you do the?
I did the flooring for probably 3 years.
Okay, so you're 23.
Mm-hmm.
23, you start working for
Yeah.
the. I mean, give or take.
I started and I became a foreman.
Yeah.
There was 3 jobs actually where I became a foreman. Now, I understood how to build, how to frame, how to do all this stuff, but I didn't know my terminology at all,
Yeah.
not correctly. So any real carpenter, like a red seal is what we call it in Ontario when you're licensed, certified, is they would laugh at me. So I was always very strategic, and I wanted a job as a foreman. I didn't want to start at a lead hand or as a laborer and work my way up. I was like, I'm going to go buy a truck before I even get the job, because I know if I have a truck, the chance of me becoming a foreman are much higher, because it saves the boss, purchasing a truck, the expenses, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden I'm now 30 grand cheaper or whatever just to hire me off because I have my own truck. And I set up 4 job interviews with 4 companies that were small enough to hire me, but big enough to afford a proper wage and keep me working. And the first interview I went to was one that's in Toronto. Actually, I don't mind telling this who it is. It was a company called Royal Decks, and they're big in the GTA. And I went in for my interview, and I didn't know anything. I was 23. This was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I knew how to build stuff. So if you give me the wood, I can build it. But I didn't understand what a ledger was, what a joist or what stringers were, or any of the actual terminology. And I remember him. He wasn't the owner. He was I think he was just like the manager of the business. And he's like, got a whiteboard out in the interview. He's like, I want to see what you know. And I'm like, well, I start by nailing the thing to the wall.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, the stringer to the wall. He's like, we're not at stringers yet.
Yeah.
And he just shook his head and he's like, I'll give you a call. And that was the end of the video. But while I was screwing up the interview, he was actually educating me. That's a ledger. That's a joist. This is the beam.
Yeah.
These are the footings, right? Just a simple floor deck structure. And then I went to my next interview 40 minutes later, and I just repeated everything he said.
Yeah.
And I got the job.
And this is you're 23 at this point,
Yeah.
and 23 to you're 33 now, and you've been Wood Bully for 2 years. So there's 8 years there that you are, I guess, working. I don't know if you're working for the same company, but you're working for different contractors.
Well, I got a job
in
as a
that
foreman
area.
with this guy for 3 seasons, I think I did, or 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And then I used the experience from him to get into the real company that I wanted to work for, the one who does really good work, and I really wanted to learn, cut my teeth
Yeah.
doing high-end finished carpentry and high-end stonework and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Wood Bully's actually 3 years old because I was sole proprietor for a year before I incorporated,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. I don't know how it works in the U.S., but...
It's pretty much the same thing. But that's, I guess, just a little surprising to me because, like, I feel like, I don't know, we just seem like we're very similar in a lot of ways. And, like, I have done a lot of things, like, where you're saying, like, yeah, I didn't feel like working there, so I walked out. Like,
Yeah.
I had not that many jobs, but the jobs that I did have, I left pretty much in that manner. I was like, I don't feel like listening to you right now. I'm out of here.
Yep.
But then you worked under people for 8 years, which is, I don't know, it just doesn't totally seem like you seem like you are built to do your own thing, be your own boss, and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there is, I struggled I basically started the business and was just like learning as I went, where you kind of, I needed
Yoda. I need to find Yoda.
Yeah. So you learned all these things, and then,
Yes.
then you go out on your own, and that's I think what we really want to get into, because what you're building now, I think is really unique in a lot of ways. The things that you're doing, obviously, the projects are unique. You're focusing on design and everything like that, and you're trying to build cool stuff. But there's a lot of companies that build really cool stuff out there, but there's not a lot of companies that are trying to capture it in the way that you are, the way that I am. And it's a way that highlights you as a professional, that shows off the type of work that you're able to do. But I think you're doing it in a very similar way that we are, in like kind of an entertaining, not take yourself too serious, like fun, approachable, relatable kind of thing. What led to your brand is that feel where it's fun, it's entertaining, but at the end of the day, or at the end of the video, we're building cool stuff. Yeah, we're joking around, we're acting like, we're acting goofy, but the point of every video is, yeah, we're goofy, but we're building cool stuff, and that's kind of what we do.
Yeah, for me, it's funny when people say that my videos are funny, because that's me trying to be serious.
Yeah.
And I always like when people are like, your videos are hilarious. I'm like, what are you talking about?
So that's just you just
That's
trying
just
to
you?
be extremely professional.
I know, I was me just being in character, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm just like, but I never intentionally, because I always felt like, how can I make this funny? That's impossible. So I'm just going to just be myself.
Yeah.
But then people say it's funny and I'm missing the jokes. But I guess I'm making, and maybe it's the time, the way I talk, the placement. I don't know.
I think it's, I think the first thing, almost everyone, and we haven't really got into this, but you're doing a lot of really cool things on social media. TikTok, you have like 170,000 followers. I just saw today you hit 50,000 on Facebook. You've got, I don't know, 10, 15 on Instagram. So you're growing all these channels really quickly, which obviously means you're doing something that's resonating with people. And the one thing that people will know if they watch your videos is a lot of it is like you're showing off these little tips. And almost every video, or maybe every video, starts off with, pay attention, Brian. And I want to know, is Brian a real person, or is Brian just the avatar for your viewer? Because I like it either way.
I don't know if I can answer that question. I think I'm legally.
You're going to keep that secret.
Yeah.
To not know if
well, he could be a real person.
It almost doesn't even matter, is what you're saying.
I know a lot of people named Brian. No, but yeah, Brian is Brian. No, Brian's asked me not to share any information about Brian at the moment. So that's just one of those questions that,
I
unfortunately, maybe after we turn the mics off, I'll tell you.
You can tell.
Yeah.
I think really it doesn't matter either way, but the way that you do it in every video, it's kind of like, you watch a few videos and you start to like, I don't know, it's such a really super unique way to like brand your videos. And yeah, like they're all these like little tips that people can, and it's like you're talking to Brian, but your viewer is Brian. You're saying, pay attention, Brian, and you might as well be saying, pay attention, viewer.
Yeah, it's like apprentice POV.
Yeah, it's really just super unique, super creative, and
You're being so nice.
Yeah. I legit think that I see that like at the end of the day, I mean, I think we're building cool stuff. I think you're building cool stuff, but I don't know, building cool stuff, I think, not that that's easy, but I think what makes us different. So many people build really cool stuff, but you're creating the content around it, and the way you're going about it is super unique. And I don't know, it's like the pay attention, Brian, is just like a super, it's like sort of meta. It's sort of, it's
somehow,
like I don't know if it was a purposeful thing that you planned out to be like a really cool thing, or it was like you started saying it and then it was like, okay, we need to keep saying this because this is a good idea.
It's like the I didn't do it kid Simpsons episode. Ever seen that where Bart knocks down the stage and says I didn't do it, and then he becomes an overnight celebrity and everyone just wants him to say I didn't do it, and he's sick of saying it?
You're like the guy, like I don't know, I'm trying to, like a one-hit wonder, and they're like, sing that one song.
Yeah. And you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't on purpose. I'm going to tell you that the truth is, the first time I said it, I meant it.
I feel like
the second time
can
it
I
was
guess? I feel like there used to be somebody named Brian that worked for you that was kind of, you were like, pay attention, Brian, and now he doesn't work there, but you keep saying, pay attention, Brian. Is that?
You're not entirely accurate.
But
that whole statement isn't entirely accurate. But the first time I said it, I did mean it. And then I did 2 more videos where I did it on purpose, because sometimes repetitive humor is funny. Like when you say the same thing 3 times, it just makes it funnier. The 3rd time's the funniest. The 4th time, probably not funny anymore. So I decided to do 3 videos. And then I did another one, a 4th video, where I didn't say it. And then people were messaging me and saying, why didn't you say pay attention, Brian?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then even my wife's friend texted her and said, he just did a video and didn't say pay attention, Brian. I kept trying to get away from it. And then it just was like, people were like, we don't want to see anything else.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, if it's funny, we'll go for it.
Yeah. I think that's like a rule of comedy. You say one thing and it's funny. You say it twice, it's kind of funny. You say it 3 times, it's like a little less funny. You say it like 4 times, and it's really not funny at all anymore. And then like 5,
10,000 times.
But then you keep saying it. It's like the irony that you keep using it. It becomes really funny, but in a different way. Yeah. And that's something that I do all the time. I'll do like the same thing over and over again, and it's like, okay, it was funny like 2 times, and now it's like super annoying for like a week. But then it's like, wow, he stuck with it. And he's still saying it. And now it's funny that
now
he
we've integrated it into our.
Exactly. So I don't know. I just think that is like just a weird, wacky, genius branding thing that you've done, which is really cool.
Just did it by accident. I just wanted to get free tools. And I was like, let's just make a video of me cutting a bird's mouth or something. Like,
yeah.
something simple.
So
Or I think the first one I ever did is I just put the speed square on the 2x4 and cut it.
yeah,
Again with the shoe played against the speed square. It was like, that's how it's done.
yeah.
And then
I
that
saw
was
that
my
video.
and that was the only one on YouTube that I got any traction on. Every other
Yeah.
YouTube video has fallen flat. I have no idea how to use YouTube. I don't
Yeah.
even watch it in my personal time either, so I have no idea what's going on YouTube. But I know you are good at YouTube.
Yeah.
I assume so. I don't know because I don't watch it, but I heard that you are good on YouTube.
Yeah. To you, it's YouTube. To me, it's MeTube. Yeah, it's our tube.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have checked out your YouTube channel, and you're doing like basically like YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, I'm just putting all my TikTok stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, which is YouTube's really at like a I don't know. It's a weird area right now because it used to be just long format videos,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
that's the one thing I love about it is like it's so much more effort. Like there's such a higher level of entry into that world because like to do YouTube fully, you have to like it's just such an investment of time
That's
to make
why
a
I don't do
10-minute
it.
video. It's so hard. But
I'm yawning. You almost made me yawn just saying. I swear to God, YouTube.
I think
no
I
thanks.
mean I'm going to throw out a prediction that you will be doing YouTube videos long format. I think
Yeah.
obviously it's the next progression of where you're going.
Well, the last couple sites we had a cameraman there the entire time.
Yeah, I didn't start making YouTube videos until like year 4 but it seems like that's where your business is going. So I want to know what were your goals when you first started the business? Let me know that first and then I'll ask the next question.
Okay, so I knew I already had that commercial flooring company, and I learned some hard lessons and decided that I'm gonna take some business courses, read some books, because I didn't understand the actual financial structure of business. So, if that explains why I took the time off
Toss
to
me one of those
be a
brewskis.
project manager and a foreman and everything else, and cut my teeth and learn the actual terminology. Not only that, but I wanted to work underneath successful business owners and just basically pry them for questions all the time. And I
Yeah.
do that. And I did that. I got into the point where I was seeing all the numbers from a very successful multi-million-dollar landscaping business.
Yeah.
And it opened my eyes to how much, like even people watching this, the average deck builder doesn't realize how short he's selling himself every day.
Yeah.
Like it's remarkable the difference between when people are, I don't know how to say this. I always try to say things without sounding like a dickhead. But like the difference could be 3 times your income
Yeah.
or more take home after taxes, and 3 times a carpenter's 30 years experience working for someone else. You can make 3 times that,
Yeah.
4 times that, 5 times that, depending on the type of business you have. But they don't realize what that actually is, where it gets stupid, where it's like, am I really making the same thing as a doctor
Yeah.
building decks? Nobody's willing to even absorb that as something that can happen. But when I was seeing this larger company run, and I was like seeing what the boss was taking home like $250,000 as a salary,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, I want that.
Yeah.
Why am I taking home $30 an hour?
I think there's 2 very distinct there's the people that are carpenters that just happen to fall into their own business and they're still carpenters but they're running the business, and then there's people that are business owners that are entrepreneurs that build decks, and it's
That
kind of
just-
2
yeah.
different ways, but most of the time it is usually somebody that like is just an entrepreneur and a businessman doesn't find their way into the deck industry because it's so random. But so it's usually either most of the time people start as a builder and sometimes they grow out of that and find, themselves in an entrepreneurial, business role. But other times, and most of the time with most businesses in any construction industry, they're operators, they're, they are mechanics that are working in their
Right.
business and not on their business.
It's job creation. They create their own job.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
They're not creating a business. They're creating a job for themselves.
Yeah.
And,
Which is just. I mean, if they're happy doing that, then that's
yeah,
amazing.
Exactly.
But I just wanted a little bit of what everyone else was getting.
Yeah. A little bit of that
Right?
cheddar, baby.
Give me some of that.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
tired of being the downtrodden.
Yeah.
Right? So I just seen I have a skill set. I happened to be good at, art. So I know I know what looks good. I know what going to catch people's attention. For some weird reason, when I was younger, I was really good at getting attention from a lot of people. So I knew how to get eyeballs. So in terms of marketing, is something I've always had a second nature to be good at in terms of just getting as much attention as possible on something. So I did get to a point where I was getting a lot of side jobs and I was turning them down because I didn't have time to do them while I was still working. So then when I started Wood Bully, I wanted to create a name and a brand that I could stick to anything and would look good, whether it's merch, big fences, signs, or, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. And I wanted to make sure that it's like, it was as recognizable as Coca-Cola or anything like that. So
I would say more so now.
Yeah. Not even close. But I just wanted it to be, if it had the potential to grow, the brand wouldn't slow me down. And the brand would actually help me. And the brand would be also, I didn't say, deck bully or fence bully. It's Wood Bully, design and build. If I want to start building houses, I can start gearing towards that direction if that's where I want to go as a contractor or as a company. Do we want to be home builders? Probably. If you've seen the margins compared to what we do, it's probably the same, but one just seems like more headaches, which for some reason I like to take on.
Yeah.
But the point was I wanted to create that brand, and I did that before I even started the company. So I came up with the term Wood Bully because I was showing Brian how to steer the lumber when we were putting on the rim joist. And the joists are sometimes up, down. We're using pressure-treated wood. And we have to steer it. Like, you have to tell the wood what to do. You need to bully the wood, right? You got to be the wood bully, man. Don't show me the rim joist is steering off into the air by 2 feet and then don't nail that in. You out of your mind? It has to be perfect. Regardless of what the wood is telling you, you make it go. Yeah. and then I that for some reason when I said that, it's one of those things that's stuck into my head, my long-term memory. So when I was sitting down thinking of ideas, it was in my brain. Yeah. And I wrote it down.
I think you just gave away a little bit of so Brian worked at your old company.
No, well, yes, and technically yes, but he also worked at Wood Bully.
Okay. So all right, so that is what kind of got you into it. It sounds like it was all about the cheddar. You saw that big dollar amount.
That's where I decided to grow an actual brand. It wasn't all about the money because obviously the money doesn't come right away, or even in the second year. You find new problems that slow you down based on. But what it did was it showed me what was possible. It showed me where the market was, and the type of market that I wanted to get into was the type of, and I knew I had the chops to reach that market. Yeah. Right? I knew I was good at doing high-end work so I could achieve the high-end market that I wanted. So that was the plan. Yeah. Basically, and then I started my Instagram, my Facebook, and all my social medias before I even opened the company. And then for the solid year, while I still had my old job, I would advertise and I would sell jobs and tell them I was booked 12 months out. Everyone who called, I said, I'm booking for next year. We're all booked up this year. And it worked to the point where my first year in business, I never took a day off. Yeah. All projections were made. My spreadsheets were made. I had my projections. I seen, what the company was going to make gross, net,
I feel like I'm talking to a mirror almost. I don't know.
You did the same thing?
No, I didn't do not.
You just like that idea.
Just like on a just I don't know. It's just it's everything that you're doing is just not the norm. It's not what building a standard construction company looks like.
I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I didn't have any money. I started the company with, I think. I registered the company. They were doing 50% off on company registration. I spent $30 instead of $60, and that was the only investment I made.
Yeah, it just from like just approaching everything differently and saying, and I always thought that I was kind of an outsider to the construction industry, which was a huge benefit to me because I didn't have these preconceived ideas of how to grow a business. And it's just interesting. Like, I just feel like we're very similar on hey, this isn't, I don't know, this is how we're going to do it because this is a good idea. And, not a lot of people do that. Like, not a lot of people are like, I'm going to start my own business, but I'm going to stay working for this other company for a year, and I'm just going to brand it and say, yeah, we are an extremely successful company, and we are booked out one entire year from now.
And currently, we still are booked out a full year out.
Yeah.
in legitimate sales. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an absolute, like, it's a ridiculous concept to think that you would do, but when
It's the things you always think about but never do. I just one day woke up and decided to start doing all the things I would always have ideas, and people are like, "Wow, that's a good idea. Too bad no one's ever going to do it."
Yeah.
Why don't I do that?
I don't think that anybody would think of that. I think it's a really super novel idea to say, I am going to say that we're booked out an entire year and create this,
Buzz.
fake,
It's called buzz.
Exclusivity kind of thing. And it is like, it's
exclusive.
Yeah, exactly.
You want the wood bully?
Yeah, exactly. You got to wait an entire year, and you're
yeah.
like, I don't know. I kind of haven't even heard of this guy before, but he's booked out an entire year. It almost seems like he just started his business and he's never done a job on his own. But like that type of thinking is like, I don't know. It's a genius idea, and it obviously worked. And I don't think, not that I don't. Like, I think people will be willing to do that idea.
Yep.
They probably will when they hear this, but like,
no.
don't think a lot of people.
I don't think they can pull it off, though.
Idea.
I know a lot of people who started companies the same time as me, worked the same company as me. It was like 4 or 5 people all did the same thing I did. Like, we're out of here. We're doing this on our own. One guy is very successful as a craftsman. He's the best carpenter I've ever met. He's doing really well, but he has no ambitions of growing.
Yeah.
Or building something bigger than what it is now, which is him being busy, doing what he loves, and paying his mortgage, and he's doing amazing. And the other two, they change the name of their company every year because
they're just taking deposits and running.
I don't know, but I noticed that a new name for the company comes up on Instagram, and I'm like, "What's up, bro? What's going on?" But so I know it's not easy. I know a lot of people want to do it, so I know that even with my crazy idea, it doesn't mean it was going to be successful. I had a plan and I stuck to it. Basically.
Well, I mean, it also, coming up with the idea is one thing, but then actually talking to a client and saying, "Yes, we are booked out an entire year," knowing in your head that you've never built a project under this company, Wood Bully, it takes a certain amount of confidence, and the idea is one thing, which I think is super novel, but also not everybody that hears that is going to be able to look somebody in the eye and say, "Yes, we are super exclusive. We are booked out a year."
I don't say we're super exclusive.
Well, yeah, they just get the vibe of that.
Yeah.
When you're booked out a year.
I just say we're currently available to do your job next spring.
Yeah. So it's not
Is
a
that
lie.
Okay?
It's not a lie. It's
not a lie at all.
Because I
That's
currently
when I'm
have
available.
a job for
yeah,
the
well,
next
I'm not
year.
going to spill all my personal business. That would be unprofessional, right?
I think that is just a genius idea.
I'm glad you think that.
Yeah.
I think it's extremely outside the box. It's an idea like I think I would come up with. I didn't come up with that one. I came up with different ideas, but it's so similar to the way that I think, which is just, I don't know. I just think that's super interesting.
Yeah.
But okay, so we've dived or dove.
Doesn't matter.
We dove.
We
dove. Yes.
We collectively dove into what put you from working for somebody else to start your own business, and that has been the last 2 to 3 years. Your first year, you were booked out for a whole year, so you couldn't do any jobs.
I've been booked out a whole year since the day I incorporated the business.
So, kind of almost in a sense, you are like booking jobs as you're ready to do them. Like if you hadn't
well, we
started,
start the design process pretty much right away,
Yeah.
and then permits and. But
I mean,
if I hadn't slingshot myself,
you set yourself up a year in advance. So like you were just like, all I need to do is keep up with.
it seems like that, but I do turn down 90% of the work.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right?
Yeah, of
I only
course.
take on the clients that I think either A, they appreciate my taste and what I want to do with their project, or B, they just have good taste themselves.
Yeah.
But I don't want to build a pressure treated deck.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, like what you're like, if you sold out an entire year before you started, for you, like what you're doing now, for you to sell one job for the amount of time it takes you to build one job, like, yeah, I mean, you're probably turning down 3 jobs in that amount of time, which I think is another super. I mean, we we do that to the utmost extreme because we're not trying to grow at all, and it's kind of almost to a ridiculous point now.
Are you at one crew, one solid?
Just one crew.
Same.
And
are you comfortable with that, or are you going to try to?
No, I'm insanely comfortable with that. I don't want to grow at all. I don't think I'm good at that. I don't know, but we just got done the podcast
I feel like you should
with
say
Chris.
we don't want to scale.
Oh
We
yeah.
do want to grow.
Are you
Oh, my
concerned
God.
about diluting the quality when you scale?
No. I just think that we want to. I've always been one to leverage my strengths, and I think my strength is vision and creativity and kind of thinking outside the box. I think we both have kind of very similar strengths, and I see our biggest opportunity and the thing that we're best suited for, and the company's built around, is to be the most watched outdoor living company content creator in the world, which is not that crazy.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Oh, you probably do have more
You were
followers
almost
than me.
my friend, and now
Yeah.
you might be arch nemesis.
No. You have the same dream as me?
Ah.
I'll have to crush you.
I don't know. It's almost like, I don't know. I feel like, I haven't really felt like in this industry that there's, like, we just got done talking to Chris Breen, who is like, I mean, we're similar in some ways, but in like a personality, strengths, weaknesses, he is like my polar opposite, and like I learned so much from him. It feels like I'm talking into a mirror. It feels like we have the same strengths. We think in a very similar manner.
That's why we can never be a team.
yeah.
Right?
And that's what makes me so shocked that you were able to work for somebody for 8 years, because I can't even think
There was
what
an
the
end
longest
game. Like,
job I
so
ever
I
had.
worked for different companies though, and I basically used the first couple of stepping stones to get to the big one.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked for the big one because I wanted that experience. I wanted to see what somebody with a master's degree knows without me getting one myself, because that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So without that, I don't think I would have learned to turn it from $0 to $1 million in a year.
Yeah.
Like I did.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's interesting because I would have benefited from that so much, but excuse me, when I went into business, I think I was too stupid and naive to realize how much I needed to learn, and I was just like,
my first business, I thought I was a businessman all this time.
Yeah.
She's the one who registered a company for me. I didn't even know how to fill out the forms. And then when the first tax form came in, I'm like writing in random spots. I'm like, I don't even know what's happening. Like, that's why that business didn't do well, because I realized I had to humble myself and say, okay, maybe I'm not as smart as I think I am, and I need to hit the drawing board, and that's what I did. But it took 5-6 years before I had the confidence to go, okay, I think I'm ready to crush it now.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of doesn't matter what path you took, because I kind of did that, thought I knew a lot and knew what was, how to do everything, and then I learned along the way that, like, okay, I have a lot to learn, like, oh no, I think I knew I had a lot to learn, but I don't think I knew exactly how hard it would be until I was in it, and then it's too late to back out. And so I was learning these things along the way. I think I would have had a much easier road if I had worked for a very successful company for 5 years to learn the ropes, and then, like, just, okay, now I'm going to take all this, like, logical, practical stuff, and I'm going to blend it with my creativity. Now we'll shoot to the moon. I was like riding that creativity and the vision stuff from the beginning, and I was like, that was like kind of dragging along all these things I was bad at, and like luckily I felt like I was really good at the vision and the creativity, that it was like it's like that is pulling all
strength,
these so
like me as a businessman, not necessarily one of my strengths, but something I've always been attracted to. I've always been attracted to business, so I like it. I'm not going to say I should be out here being a guru for anyone to do business, but it's something I've always taken an interest in. So it's something, even when I was younger, I've always found it romantic, so I've always liked it. Which a lot of people say
then.
Yeah, I would. She was in. My wife's here. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, the business part is just as exciting as the creative aspect, as as a design aspect. Now, I don't actually design like on AutoCAD myself,
Yeah.
which is something I admit to. I don't need to keep that a secret or anything, but some people wonder.
This is a safe space. You can
Yeah,
be
yeah.
open with it.
So I hire designers that I know and trust and I've worked for in the past or
Yeah.
worked with in the past. And I just give them my ideas. Like, I want this wall to look like this and I want it to stop here. And, and then they make it into a drawing that I can present to a client in a professional way.
Yeah.
Where I'm not trained in AutoCAD, so I'm not going to sit there and put in 10,000 hours when I could do something else, because I already know a dozen people who are really good at that, and I'm going to let them do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, design is more of like, my version of design is like, I really think this would look cool like that. If you could like turn that into a pic, they'll send me. I'm like, no. And then I'll do another crappy sketch and send it to the designer. They'll be like this. I'm like, yes, just like that. So it still ends up being our design that we collaborated on, but it's not necessarily. So I always give credit to the designers.
Yeah.
I don't just.
I feel like for a second we need to pause and apologize to Catherine, because it's like kind of like me versus me going just back and forth, and it's
you
like
guys are great at
it's
this.
You
like
gotta keep
we're
us on track.
talking to each
If
other.
there's any
like,
specific questions you want to ask, it'll be your job to make sure.
No,
because I have no
I mean-
idea what's going on.
we kind of pride ourselves on not having any specific. We just let it. It usually, I don't know, but it's just like we're talking.
Yeah.
It's like
No, you guys
I'm
are having
talking
great
to
natural
myself.
conversation right now. So I'm just
It's
letting
like
it
two
happen.
people just talking to. I feel like I'm talking to myself and I'm hearing myself
Yeah,
back.
I always found it,
And, like-
even the way you marketed your business, and I'm like, who else is doing outdoor living to the point where we're doing every square inch of backyards?
Yeah.
And then on the internet, the way we're doing it, there's literally no one else other than us two.
Yeah.
Is there?
No. Yeah, we are.
No.
Very,
We're
oh yes, we
Very
we're
are.
the same
bunch.
person.
Yes, we're very. I know. I'm kind of getting like a little bit weirded out, and it's
Yeah,
freaking
it
me
is.
out
It
a
is a little
bit.
freaky. I thought that too, because I seen your videos before I even started the company. I think on Instagram, not
Okay.
YouTube. And I was like, that's me. I can do this.
Yeah.
And I did it. And I even messaged you and told you that with like when I started the company, and you never responded.
I'm sorry. It was not personal.
He's so
at all.
popular. I respond to everybody.
I'm actually surprised. It was when you started the company 3 years ago.
I think it was 3 years ago I sent it. It could have been later that I actually told you.
Okay.
But I did send you that message, and I was like,
On
this guy
Instagram.
can't even get a follow back. Yeah, he just followed me like a month ago, but
I've been seeing your stuff. You're always posting it in the Deck Builder forum. So like I feel like I
on
see
Facebook.
it.
I started doing that before my Facebook blew up. Now
Yeah.
I just post it on my own Facebook because I have 50,000 followers finally. Like, took a while.
Hot shot.
Whoa. It's not a lot, but it's a lot more.
I do think,
that I have.
and that's something me and Catherine have talked about, that like Facebook is kind of, we need to put more focus on it, because it is, video is doing really well on there right
Yes,
now, and
yes.
it's like, I don't know, it's I think being ignored by a lot of people. We just like kind of have always just put stuff up on there for just like, no, we'll post it on our business page, and we've gotten up to like 25,000 followers, but
it's like the garbage from Instagram gets carried over to Facebook.
pretty much. But there is like, I mean, there's just so many. I think that's next on our, maybe not next,
Because you
but
could
it's
think
on
about
our
it. It's like
itinerary.
On our radar.
YouTube, Twitter, and
Yeah.
Instagram combined. You can write statuses, you can share photos, you can make reels, you can make long form videos up to 10 minutes long.
You can do that on IGTV too. I mean, all
But
the
nobody
platforms.
watches IGTV.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
so, but
Not
they
on mine,
might.
at least.
Yeah.
Mine
Yeah.
doesn't have no place. But my point is, Facebook's it was outdated, but it's still the most versatile social media.
Yeah, and I get drug into like these these videos on Facebook that like hook you in the first second, and like they're like trying to open something or like whatever.
Cook something really weird.
Yeah, and it's something that should take like 1 second. And then it's like,
It's-
but they draw you in that initial second,
Yeah.
Chaotic energy.
and then it's like a 15-minute video of like, oh my god, I wonder what's in here. I don't know. Oh, and like I find myself watching it, and I'm just like, I don't know. And obviously, I know that like after I get like 20 seconds into, I'm like, oh, it's one of these videos where they
I've
just
been
drag
duped,
you
but I
on.
want to keep going.
But something about that is just like so interesting to me. Like, what is it that grabbed me in the very beginning of this? That made me watch this for 10 minutes and just like,
I've
be
heard
frustrated.
somebody comment or message me, and this was only a few days ago, because I shared a post of me putting in some expanding foam footings.
yeah.
And because I knew like
I saw
it'd
you
get
did a
people
rebuttal
riled
to
up.
it. Yeah.
It'd get people riled up.
So,
I was just trying the product, the post moved a little bit as the foam expanded, a little off, but it was just a test post.
Yeah.
But I posted it, with the post moving and it's like 16 times speed. So it was like,
You did a post?
I did a post.
Okay.
And somebody messaged me. He's like, "You do that for the chaotic energy, to get people talking, to get people arguing about why the post moved." And I'm like, well, part of me did because I seen it move. I'm like, oh yeah, that'll get it.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that he was calling it chaotic energy. I'm like, I really like that term. And it's like them when they're like trying to open a can and they just can't figure it out. It's like, and then you're like, what's going on? Will she ever open the can? Or like when they make pasta and they dip it in the sauce first, the whole jar of sauce, and then they put it and then they pour the sauce over it.
And you realize,
why are you doing that?
It's like this
to piss me off.
insane way of doing something. They're like, the title is like, I can't believe I never thought of doing it. And then they do like the most simple thing in the most absurd way. And then you don't really realize till the end that like, okay, they just tricked me this whole time.
It's a troll.
Yeah.
So they did it on purpose.
It's so interesting
It's
to
actually
me.
genius.
Yeah, it's so genius. And that's what like appeals me to it. Like, what was it how did they trick me into this? What was that grab? Because we all need, whether it's an impactful thing or it's not, you need that initial grab
They get your 2
attention.
cents. Literally, they get your 2 cents.
Yeah, exactly. So like I came up with like a really, I don't know if I want to share this and because you might take it, but
You just edit it out. I'm just saying.
I was thinking like we need something to grab somebody like right away in a video. So I was thinking, and hear me out on this.
Say like, pay attention, Brian.
Okay.
No, I was thinking like, pay
Right
attention,
away.
Catherine.
Are you actually gonna do it?
That's what I was gonna do. No, that's what.
I'm okay with that because everyone will know you
That was just a long
copied.
format joke. We're not gonna do that.
What was your actual plan? Or was that what you were running up to?
That was just a very
But I beat you to your
long
own
build.
joke.
Yeah, God.
Sorry, I apologize for
You
that.
guys really are the same
I know you
person.
guys are really
This is
freaking
kinda
me out a
weird.
little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I meant to get to this question like, I don't know, like how long have we going? Like 9 hours?
51 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, really? We're still under an hour. So,
Under an
okay.
hour.
We've covered everything from creation of Wood Bully to now.
Okay.
What is, I don't know. I don't want to say what's your 5-10 year plan because I know you'll say I don't know. Anything's possible. That's what I would say.
Well,
So-
I actually have
Where-
a 5 to 10
what-
year plan. I'm going to be probably somewhere close to where I am right now in Florida on a beach somewhere
Okay.
in the middle of January. Or what month is it? February. That's right.
I don't know.
Whatever. It's cold.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be.
I feel like
don't
I'm
want to
stuck
be
in a
where I'm
moment-
supposed to be.
In
when
a
it's like
moment
this.
in eternity right now.
So my actual plan, like, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I created my brand and I decided to market it like a comic book or like a band,
Yeah.
where I'm a comic book character myself. So me as the Wood Bully. I haven't seen anybody do that for a construction company before. So I thought it would be clever. And I know it works. I see people do it all the time. They become famous, like Mr. Beast. That's not his name, but he's incredibly famous for whatever he does. I don't know what he does. My kids watch it though, but my point is like this. However, that people with these business degrees were taught to scale these businesses, they weren't taught to do it in today's market right now. They were taught to do it whenever their professors did it,
Yeah.
which is totally different because we're looking at the world now. And I was just even talking to HGTV personality telling me that HGTV is pretty much over.
Yeah, 100%.
And the internet is the HGTV. Like
Yeah.
Madison Avenue is gone,
And
right?
don't know what that is.
It's
Cultural.
advertising before television.
Oh, okay. Like New York.
Yeah.
Mad Men.
That's
Okay.
yeah.
I
Okay,
thought,
you've
yeah,
seen Mad Men.
Yeah, I thought it was another
that's
like
over.
Canadian.
You thought it was a Canadian
And now-
show that we didn't
Yeah,
have
I'm
access
like,
to?
I don't know any of this.
You're from New Jersey. How do you not know this?
We know Avril Lavigne. We know Nickelback.
You know Drake and Justin Bieber?
Yeah, we know them.
Yeah,
I love
those are like
Justin Bieber,
way more
honestly.
relevant than the
Yeah.
examples that you gave.
Yeah, Avril Lavigne was really dope when we were in junior high.
Yeah, it totally
Yeah.
was. Yeah. Anybody that sits here and says that they don't wish they were as cool as Justin Bieber is lying. I think Justin Bieber is like pretty freaking cool.
I think he's too cool.
He's super cool.
He seems to bother him.
I would probably be bothered by how cool I was if I was Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Like he wears these like insane outfits and looks like cool, and
Yeah.
like I just look at that. I'm like, I'm just trying to imagine if I wore that, how absolutely ridiculous I would look. But he's Justin Bieber and he looks so cool.
I think you
Yeah.
look cooler than you think because
No, I don't think
You
so.
just got to do it with
because you're
confidence.
big on YouTube.
Do anything with confidence and you'll be believable.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
fully believe that.
And if it's a first
you might
impression-
be believable. Like people will be like, he really does think he looks cool in that, but he doesn't.
I think everyone
When
who
No.
Justin Bieber wears it, it's like, wow, he's wearing that like super oversized pullover hoodie. He looks
yeah,
so
you're
cool.
right. That is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's
But,
amazing.
You just got to make it your thing.
So in terms of scaling in 5 years, my plan was there was a point where I wondered if I should market Woodbully as a person or as a company online. I know that the actual business itself is always Woodbully Ltd. and I'm Gord and I meet people and I'm a real person, but I did consider.
I wasn't sure if you were a real person. I was starting to wonder.
considered this. I don't know if it sounds stupid or not, but also I always wondered, when you introduce yourself to a brand, if you're trying to make a brand deal, how do you tell them you're an influencer without sounding like a dick?
That's it's a
Or how do
very
you say I'm
good
really
question.
popular?
I think it can be tough because it's no matter what you say to somebody, if you want to work with them, if they don't know who you are already.
They normally do, but it's a matter of like.
I mean, it doesn't matter how many followers you have. Like, there's certain brands that are like here that are just like, oh, what, you're on what, YouTube? What is it called? YouTube?
Yeah,
You're on
TikTok.
Yeah.
My kid uses that. That's
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
That's how it was for the first year, but
What,
now
you
it's
have
now
bad
it's caught
breath?
up.
You want a
Yeah.
Tic Tac?
Yeah.
What are you saying? Yeah.
It's caught up now, but
So I think it's just like, we work with a few brands, and it's, you kind of go up to them and you say, hey, this is, we're kind of building our business around this. Like, what are you guys doing for marketing? Do you think that what we're doing provides value to you?
no. Who taught you sales? Do you think? No, this is why.
No, I don't think so, because I mean, ultimately,
Ooh, our first differentiator.
Yeah,
Whoa.
this is why. This is why. Here's what we're doing. Not
No.
do you think maybe we can?
No. I don't know. So, like, what we do is concrete. It's has analytics to back it up,
Of course.
and we don't want to convince a brand to work with us. We want them to be excited to work with us,
Right.
and no
There's
matter
a push
what.
and shove on their end is what I mean. Is like when you say if you can, they'll be like, well, here's what you're gonna do for us, and then it's this.
Well, then
I
I
don't want any
say,
of this.
yeah, and then I say,
No.
then we don't want to work. We want this to be mutually valuable. We want to
Correct.
both feel valued,
Exactly.
and,
And make
I
a
want to
relationship.
provide. I want to provide the best, spend that you could possibly
Exactly.
get, and
Exactly.
I want to feel like we've been compensated properly. But I want you to feel like at the end of a year,
You wanna
whatever we
renew
do,
this contract.
yeah, that you feel like this is amazing, and we both
Yes.
feel really good about this,
Yes.
and it's. I feel like it almost doesn't matter how you bring it up, because like if that's your goal, if that's what you want, like you can say it in any way, and it's just like you can say, hey, I really like this product. Hey, listen, we're a builder, but we're also creating a lot of content, and we want to we're focusing on that content creation, and do you see that aligning with what you're doing? I think our audience would really
That's where the
associate
word
with,
audience, you have to throw it in there, because at some point you have to tell them that people are watching, and you
Yeah.
don't want to seem like that's. For me, I always have that issue. It's like, what's your audience? It's not a lot. It's not a lot. But why would you say that to a brand you're about to partner with?
Well, yeah,
you want to
wouldn't.
humble yourself, but they don't. They want to know.
I don't think you want to humble yourself. You want
In
to
general.
say that. Well, yeah. I mean, in general,
Except
I think
for that moment. is what I'm
except for
saying.
that moment,
Yeah.
you don't want to say, we're doing this. Like, not that you don't want to be humble about it, but you don't want to pump it up like, oh my God, look at what we're doing. You want whatever you're doing to be like, at the end of the day, like, they're going to look at the numbers and the influence and all that kind of
They're
stuff.
due diligence,
But what you want to do is humble yourself by saying, we've done all this, but we're just at the beginning. We're just starting out.
Correct.
I feel like
Yeah.
we just started, and
Sell them the vision.
And
Sell
for
them
me, it's
where
like
you
I
are
right
literally
now.
have just started.
yeah, I mean, you can put a
Yeah.
value on analytics. You can't put a value on vision of the picture that you paint of where we're going together.
Train track that
Yeah.
we're laying.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
You already know this stuff because we're the same person. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You wake up in the morning, sometimes you think you're me when you look in the mirror.
yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm Gordon South.
Yeah, that's the name.
Yeah,
That's a secret name.
I know.
How did you find that name? I probably put it on my social media.
It's on your Instagram. Yeah. That's exactly where
That
I found
adds
it,
up.
and
That
your
adds up. Big research.
Facebook
Yeah,
and everything.
it's a
yeah.
weird name, but it's a real name. A lot of
Gordon?
people ask me, is that your real name? Like South being my last name?
Yeah,
It does sound like a famous person's name.
Gordon
Thank you.
South.
Thank
Gordon
you for
South.
that,
Yeah. It does.
It has a nice ring to it.
It does.
Yeah.
It is a famous person's name.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. I'm not. But
All right.
how many
so
subs you have on YouTube?
subscribers?
That's
We're
what we
at
call followers, right?
that's what we call them on YouTube. Yes,
On the
yeah.
tube,
Subscribers. Yeah, we do.
Tell me like
we do
a
say subs.
million or something.
Not even close. Not even close at all. A million is like in
Yeah.
our industry is like God
King
status.
of the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the biggest person in building products, building, construction,
In construction.
is RR Buildings, I
Yeah,
would say, and
he's a stud.
he's almost at 1 million,
Man.
but he's growing like so rapidly.
Yeah, he's killing
Yeah.
it. He's
We'll be-
hit millions on TikTok too.
Oh, I know.
He's big everywhere.
Anything he touches just turns to gold. I mean, he's
Good for
like
him.
he's absolutely killing it. Like he's the person I look to like, wow, what is he doing that like not that I can emulate, but I can pull something from, because he's doing a lot of things right.
I've seen him do a couple videos similar to my format recently, and I'm like, he's better than me at what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
That
whatever
sucks.
he does, like, hey, he's doing what he does so well. But I mean, we went so roundabout. We have 170,000 subscribers.
Sheesh.
So
That's what kids say.
okay, I thought they still said lit.
I thought it was cheese or G's, but my son corrected me, and it's sheesh.
Like sheesh?
Yeah, but with lots of E's in there.
Sheesh.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Now you're
I
well.
like it.
Yeah, but so the thing I love about YouTube is that it's so different from all the other platforms. It's so much more work to create the content, but we have 170,000 subscribers on there, which I mean,
It's amazing.
which is, I mean, I'm from where we were at a couple years ago. 100,000 was like an unthinkable number to me.
Same with TikTok with me. Like,
Yeah,
getting to 10. I remember when I got to 10K, I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I'm just
And for
Chilling.
how long did you think that was really cool? And were you like,
literally probably 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Like I am now. I
exactly.
just looked at Facebook and hit 50K. I'm like,
all right,
now
well,
it's like 50.4, and I'm like, yeah. Just
yeah,
keep
exactly. Yeah.
moving. Just keep doing
But
this.
YouTube, the average like view on something like Instagram or TikTok is like, they say across the board it's about like 8 to 10 seconds, somewhere
makes
in
sense.
that range. And we had on YouTube last year 68.5 million minutes watched, full minutes, which
is
I don't know how. I haven't really done the math. Is
Right. I would
Can
say
you
it's like roughly 129 years.
I think you're actually exactly right.
Is that a metric that you actually got? Because I remember mine
Yeah,
was
it
like
is.
thousands of hours that people watched. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a really
It's-
weird thing to think about.
When you look at it, you get into thousands of hours. It's just like
Yeah.
it's so like we did
incredible.
the they send your year-end analytics. It was kind of like the Spotify Wrapped thing they do for creators on YouTube, and it was like
I heard urine analytics.
urine
You sent in urine.
analytics. Yeah, got it analyzed. Yeah,
Okay, go
turns
on.
out like I'm superhuman or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing to do.
Yeah.
Go on.
It's not now. So I don't know if they actually said 129 years on their analytics, or I was just like,
Did you do the math?
I did the math.
I think
maybe.
you did the math.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the years one. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like, okay, it's this many million minutes. I don't know.
Was that math like on the company meeting on Monday morning? You're like, everybody,
The company meeting happens inside my head at every hour on the hour.
and you have everyone catch up through telekinesis. It's telekinesis, right? Or is that when you move stuff? Telepathy is when you.
Yeah. Telepathy.
Yeah.
There you
Okay,
go.
correct.
I'm not
kinetic
sure,
is
but I
physical.
think I might have that power because when we walked in here to this show yesterday, I said I really thought that there would be like we were hungry when we walked in, and I said
Oh yeah.
I said, yeah, we both had established that we were both hungry before we got to the show, and then as we were walking in, we just kept walking. We walked in the show, and I was like, I don't know. I just thought that there would be a gyro stand. And then, like, we walked for, like, literally 2 minutes. She's like, there's an actual gyro stand. I've had, like, one gyro. I
Your
don't know.
blessed life.
I don't know what, like, I've had a gyro, like, once ever. Like, I don't like gyros. It just, I
It's
don't know
called
why I
euros.
said it.
Isn't
I
it
thought it
pronounced
was-
like euros? Euros? That's how Greek pronounce it? I don't know.
Maybe.
She might know. I don't know. It's euros on a pita. I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of real Greeks who make Greek food in Toronto. So
Really?
there's a Greek town. All the street signs are like PlayStation controllers and stuff. It's cool. You
All
should
right.
try it
All right.
if you're ever in Toronto.
Did I ever ask the question of what's next for Woodbilly? Did we
Yes.
get there?
What's next is, I don't know. You never know. But no, what's actually next is I do plan to, basically I plan to take on whatever opportunities I can and whatever challenges I can as I go, like I've always been doing.
Like
so
keep your eyes open to what opportunities present themselves?
sometimes where I think I'm going to be and where I actually end up are two different things, but at least I have a plan. I may, like next year, we've planned to expand into 2 crews where I spend 50% of my time on both sites. And I'm going to see how that goes. Now, I know that's not typically how you split a cell, and but that's what we're going to try.
You want to make video content on both sides and
yeah. I'm
like,
just going to show up for the cool stuff and make sure everyone's moving.
Yeah.
Move with purpose while I'm here, and
Yeah.
make sure everyone knows what they're doing. Any troubleshooting that they're afraid to fall on the sword, they need the boss to fall on the sword. That's the troubleshooting that I have to do. And if I can do that at 2 different places during the day, as long as my sites are managed, I have 2 foremen, 2 crews, myself. I think potentially you could grow 70% in sales with that. And I know because I'm assuming there'll be a 30% decline in productivity with me not always being around.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to move with purpose when you don't think that way. And I always think that way. I'm like, no empty trips. And it's just the way I think, like, you could be doing this, so the later we can be doing that, and blah, 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 blah. Because there's a million parts. It's like a puzzle you have to put together.
Yeah.
You know that when you're doing something where you're excavating, pouring a foundation for a deck that's going to be built in a week from now, but you're doing the patio, you have to think 100 steps ahead, if not more, in order for this to go smoothly. And you're the only one who wants to think that way.
Yeah, that sounds like an extremely logical way to think and not chaotic at all, especially the way you put it. It doesn't sound like there's chaos in your brain at all times.
I picture it as a jigsaw puzzle. It's a jigsaw puzzle. And I go, okay, so what's our best approach to start? And then when we reach problem number 1, which is usually day number 1, okay, now what are we going to do? How are we going to continue? What's the most efficient way to continue? Then we keep trucking along until we hit the next problem, and then we go, okay, do we have to move backwards? I hope not. Sometimes we do. And then so for me, biting the bullet when you have to move backwards is the hardest thing for me to do. But sometimes it's like the easiest and the most obvious solution is always the right one, but you don't want it to be.
Yeah.
And it's like, can we all just sit around this problem for 10 minutes scratching our heads and then eventually go, let's just do what was obvious.
Yeah.
Which we don't want to because it involves walking backwards a little bit.
Yeah.
And everyone hates walking. Even if it's only 20 minutes backwards, you'd rather spend an hour trying to find a way around it than move backwards.
100%. Yeah.
Right?
We're there a lot of times.
That's where I have to get through my own head and go, okay, no, just do it again.
Yeah. Like,
right?
that you should just remove that piece, but like there's a mental block of like, oh, I got to take the nail
what if I
out
change
of
the
that.
whole design?
Yeah.
No, we don't. It's that's where I get carried away. It's some things, but it's like it all ends up being 100% perfect when it's over. But I really have to strategize how we're going to do this efficiently, where I don't just spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on bad decisions while we're doing this, or thousands of dollars on bad decisions, because it's all at the end of the day, it's coming out of my pocket when I make a bad decision. So that's a weird thing to think about, but that's the price you pay. Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
you're in this
you're
business.
An owner.
Not only an owner, but you're in a construction business where you're working outdoors.
Yeah.
It's a lot of unforeseen circumstances that guys who work indoors do not see.
It's true. It is true. And weather and all that kind of stuff. And I think we're running up against our happy hour here.
Yeah.
And
I feel like you guys could talk forever though.
I
so.
know.
probably could.
I know.
It's too bad he
And
doesn't
I
live.
don't even know what to dissect from this other than
You get a good couple TikTok videos out of this for sure.
I just think the value of just thinking uniquely, thinking outside the box. You've done some things that are just like so outside the box that, maybe somebody's not going to say they're booked out for a year when they're working for somebody else and do that. But just have that spirit about you, because we've done just different stuff that is outside the box like that. But that's such a genius thing. And to say, hey, pay attention, Brian, in the beginning of each one of your videos, whether it was sort of a mistake that turned into a thing that was intentional, it's like, Brian is the person that's watching. When I watch your video, I become Brian and I pay attention. And it's just little things like that I don't know. I feel so jumbled mentally because I feel like I've been talking to my mirror for an hour.
This was cool.
But I think a lot of people can like glean just something out of the spirit of our conversation of like, think outside the box. Don't be afraid to try something different that's unorthodox, because you can have amazing results. Like, you know, just do that. Like,
try. You might fail. I did.
Yeah.
I failed a couple times before I was successful. So
yeah, I fail like
whatever
all the time. I
I'm
mean, I
failing
mess up
right
stuff
now, and
all
I'll
the
fail again
time.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
like,
I always look forward to the future.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of freaked out at how, I don't know. I feel like I'm talking to my mirror and we think so similarly. And
we should partner up. Do you want to be Wood Bully, New Jersey?
I probably,
just scrap everything
man.
you've done this
I'm
far.
down with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think Wood Bully is.
Wood Bully Premier Outdoor Living.
I don't know. No, I think Wood Bully's better than Premier Outdoor Living.
Do you honestly think that?
Yeah, I do.
That's very kind of you.
100%.
That's humble.
Premier Outdoor Living is just like, I don't know.
I was actually going to originally call my company Oasis Outdoor Living before. Like, I had that idea 10 years ago.
Wood Bully is great.
Yeah,
oh, hell
especially.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Way
I
better.
was like a little, like, I thought it was cool, but like mostly indifferent about it until you kind of explained what your thinking behind it was. And I think it's genius.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I think, like, is
I
the
hear
Wood,
that a lot.
is the Wood Bully the company? Is it,
Or
are
is it
you the Wood Bully?
Yeah, should it be a character?
Am I the Wood Bully? Like, who's the Wood Bully?
I am.
Yeah, okay. But that's just your character that you're playing.
Yeah, it's just.
So who is it?
Yeah, I know.
All right, so we have. I hope that our listeners can get out of this. Think outside the box. Don't be afraid to do something that's unorthodox, because obviously it is working for Mr. Gordon South. And
You told me to tell you. Yeah. You told me to tell you when you're talking in circles. You're talking in circles.
Talking in circles.
Wrap it up.
Highly edited podcast.
No, we don't edit it
We
at all,
don't.
actually. Yeah. So, all right, I feel like we're gonna have to do a follow up on this episode. Until next
We're going to come
time.
to Toronto next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time, if we have.
Catherine, you're talking in circles. I was just doing my outro.
Okay, do it.
I wasn't talking in circles. I said,
Do you guys
I
have a
know.
fun
we're going to
outro?
Toronto.
No, it's just until next time. This is Premier Outdoor Living. No, wait, no, that's what we said. Oh my God, I'm so thrown for a loop. Until next time, this is the Hardworking Happy Hour.
See you next week.